Good morning, students. Today we are going to read the poem Fire and Ice, which is written by Robert Frost. It's a very small poem, so I have made a presentation for you. So before going to the poem, let's know from where the poet has got the inspiration to write this poem Fire and Ice. According to one of the Frost's biographers, Fire and Ice was inspired by a passage in Canto 32 of Dante's Inferno, in which the worst offenders of hell, the traitors, are submerged, while in a fiery hell up to their necks in ice. A lake so bound with ice, it didn't look like water, but like a glass, right clear, I saw, where sinners are preserved in ice. Some say that the poet has got inspiration from Harlow Shapley. So this is a picture of Harlow Shapley. In an anecdote he recounted in 1960 in a Science and the Arts presentation, prominent astronomer Harlow Shapley claims to have inspired Fire and Ice. Shapley describes an encounter he had with Robert Frost a year before the poem was published, in which Frost, noting that Shapley was the astronomer of his day, asked him how the world will end. Shapley responded that either the sun will explode and incinerate the earth, or the earth will somehow escape this fate only to end up slowly freezing in deep space. Shapley was surprised at seeing Fire and Ice in print a year later, and referred to it as an example of how science can influence the creation of art or clarify its meaning. So next, that everybody keeps on asking. Everybody has this question in his mind, that how the world will come to an end. So the speaker here considers the age-old question of whether the world will end in fire or in ice. This is similar to another age-old question, whether it would be preferable to freeze to death or burn to death. The speaker determines that either option would achieve its purpose sufficiently well. So let's come to the poem. So I'll read out the poem, Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. So let's come to the meaning of some of the words from here. So as I have already told you, that the poem expresses the profound idea that the world would end either of the two ways, fire or ice, which are two contradictory ideas to each other. So one group of people is of the opinion that will get so heated, and let's see what the poet wants to say through these lines. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. So here the word meaning is given, desire. What is desire? A strong feeling of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen. And there is another word, favor. It refers to approval or support. So let's come to the line-wise meaning of the poem. Some say. Some here refers to the group of people. Some people say that the world will end in fire, but some say that it will end in ice. And from what I have, I refers to here the poet. The poet says that whatever opinion, whatever things he has experienced, and he is aware that this fiery desires, the desire, he has tasted the desire, so it has the ability to burn everything. So I hold with those who favor fire. So in the first few lines, the poet is of the opinion that he will go with the people who say that the world will come to an end in fire. So here fire refers to not the burning of that thing, rather it refers to different qualities of human beings. First, it refers to the desires, and then it could be the cruelty, the fury, intolerance, avarice. So these are the different qualities of human beings which can be symbolic of this fire. And here the poet ponders means thinks over, the brutality of the human race, that the burning flames of the desires of people. The people, they are after money, they are after power, they are so greedy, so they want the luxuries. So all these negative qualities, so they act like fire, and which has the capacity to burn everything. So here the fire refers to, or it is symbolic of the greed of the desires of human being. In the next few lines, what he says, he comes to the ice. He says, but if it had to perish twice, perish means end. I think I've known enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. What is the meaning of suffice here? Sufficient. So here the poet wants to say that if it, what do you mean by it here? It refers to the world, the earth. If the world will die twice, then what will happen? So he says ice is also enough to bring the destruction, because here ice refers to the hatred. Ice refers to the insensitivity. It refers to the indifference attitude of the people. It refers to the coldness. So here ice doesn't refer to that piece, the picture you see here, rather it refers to the hatred in human being. So it refers to their insensitivity. So human beings are full of hatred for each other. This has the capacity to bring a slow and steady destruction. So the poet wants to say that, but if the world will end twice, so I think, so the poet thinks here that enough of hate is there in this world. People don't like each other, so there is intolerance, they have insensitivity, they have coldness, there is no feelings for each other, no caring. So the people are so capable of bringing this destruction. So human capacity of insensitivity and hatred has the ability or potentiality for inner destruction. Here the poet says that the process will be slow and steady, but it can bring catastrophic effect. So here he says that I think I know enough of hate to say that. What he wants to say? That for destruction of this world, for this earth, ice is also great. That means this ice is not only that piece of water which has been which gives you coldness, rather it is the coldness in the human being, the coldness, the feeling of insensitivity in the human being, and it is also sufficient. So both these ideas, fire and ice, which are quite contrary to each other, but this can lead to the destruction of this earth. Here fire, it would bring or it would lead to rapid destruction, whereas this fire, it would bring that slow and silent damage. So the poem tells us, if we don't control our desires, our emotions, our greediness, negativity, world along with us will suffer. And you can connect it through the present situation which we are going through. The world is suffering, and so it is the right time to have control over our greed, our emotions, feel for the people, save them from these clutches of greediness. So the poem we have read now. Let's come to the literary devices. So here assonance What do you mean by assonance? In the previous video we have talked about this. It is the repetition of the vowel sound in the same line, such as the long sound of O in I hold with those who favor fire. So here the O sound is repeated. So the next literary device is alliteration, that also you know. So it is the repetition of the consonant sounds in the same line. So where you will find it? From this line, I hold with those who favor fire. Favor, fire. The word favor and fire, so they are the example of alliteration. And the poet also has used imagery. So what is imagery? So it is used to make readers perceive or see the things involving their five senses. For example, some say the world will end in fire, and to say that for destruction ice is also great. So you can imagine in your inner mind these things, that the world will end in fire. You can imagine the fire. When we say the ice, you can feel, you can imagine that thing. So it is called imagery. Then the symbolism, as I have already discussed with you, that fire and this ice, they are symbolic of different things. Let's see that. So symbolism is a use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings different from their literal meaning. Here fire is not the fire, rather it is the desires, and ice here symbolizes hatred. Similarly, green and gold, symbol of beauty and happiness. This is the example. Now another poetic device or literary device has been used here, that is called anaphora. So what do you mean by anaphora? It means the repetition of a word or expression in the first part of some verses, some lines. Example, you can see in this poem, some say. This some say, these two words are repeated in the next line also. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. So this some say, these two words have been repeated in the two lines. So what is this literary device called? It is called anaphora. And next one is personification. As you know, this fire and this ice, they are capable of destruction. So these are the two things which has personified, and they are given the human qualities. So in this poem, fire and ice are capable of destruction. Therefore, the poet personifies fire and ice by giving them a mind which is capable of destroying almost anything. Then enchantment, in the previous poem you have already read this. So what is the name of that poem? Dust and Snow. Very good. So it is defined as a thought or clauses that doesn't come to the end at a line break. That means without punctuation mark. So continuation of the same ideas or line. It moves over the next line. For example, from where you will find this enchantment? From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Okay, so these are the different poetic devices which has been used in this poem. So I hope you have understood the poem very nicely. If you have any doubt, you can send it through mail. So in our school website. So we will try to clarify your doubts. So till then, goodbye.